LLC, and that's where shares are frequently sold and traded to the public with a minimum share capital of stocks. Shares are freely sold and traded to the public with a minimum share capital of £50,000. And that's for the UK and Ireland, which is for this, where it's located.
Good.
Because they're talking about the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, if you read about it.
I didn't.
I figured you're giving me kind of a dumb look over there. Did that make sense to you guys? What Public Limited? Do you have any questions on what that is?
On the vocab or the dumb look comment?
No. No, what a public limited company is. It's a step below the highest level of it.
Sure.
And the next one is shares, which is a unit of ownership in a corporation that represents a portion of the company's capital.
Sure.
So it's what they make public on the stock exchange.
One more time.
Let me say it one more time.
Yeah.
So shares are a unit of ownership in a corporation that represents a portion of the company's capital. And that's what Valdemar was really worried about, because when you operate those shares and you make those public, you lose ownership in your company. And when someone else buys those, it means that they get to partake in a say in the company, what the decisions make, and they also have ownership in it. And when he wants to keep it family-oriented. So this is additional information about the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. It was founded in 1585, and it's the world's 10th largest stock exchange. And it's located in Frankfurt, Germany. And it accounts for 90% turnover in the German market, so all their corporate. And it has 250 international trading institutions and 4,500 traders.
How would you say that compares then to the New York Stock Exchange?
It's smaller because, well, this is number 10, but ours has a lot more. So, and this one it trades in pounds instead of dollars, and so that's why it was 50,000, which is that's less than what ours would be, but.
Guys.
And that's what it looks like, just so you have a visual idea of where they're trading at.
Oh, now I know.
Isn't it pretty?
No.
Yeah, you did that. Okay, so here's some of the questions, which you guys will answer. So outline the points raised in Anna's strategic plan in RDB 2020.
Go green.
Megan, what do you think?
Well, overall, it seems like she wants to turn to green manufacturing and create it so that there's less, that instead of having the 3 company towns, they relocate to different areas of the country where managers can, Parker can
No, you can go. Keep
You
going.
have something to say?
Keep going. No,
where
she's
a
doing
manager
good.
from the, that's more like the people in that country can kind of help.
Yeah, so they're going green and hiring managers from that area so that they have experience in where they're establishing. And also she talked about in there how she's selling 2 mega factories to help fund this. And that was going to account for 50% of the profit to fund this entire environmentally friendly thing. And the other 50% was going to come from the Frankfurt Stock Exchange for making it public limited. And number 2 is, what recommendations would you make for Anna to generate more funds beyond that? Parker.
No, I didn't have an answer for that. Sorry.
She could go, you said it was a public limited, it's like a step down, so she could go all the way and go completely public. Right?
Completely public.
Yeah, she could go with it.
You sickos.
What else does she do?
Find a private investor, like how I think Vladimir.
Yeah, that was his idea because he was trying to compensate for his daughter's wild thinking. And so I thought that was the middle ground for them to meet, was having a private investor. And I also thought about the other way, where if you think about taxes, because corporate taxes are so high, and she'd be getting into that like 35% taxation, that if they found tax write-offs or investing in property that or countries that had that less taxes, then she could save money that way.
Or maybe
Instead of just like earning money, she could save.
maybe using those plants that she's hoping to shut down to generate revenue from something else. We
Yeah,
talked
she
a
could
little
rent
about
them out as warehouses.
or differentiating their product too.
They could make.
Yeah, one of the problems that came across with her generating more funds is they already had those railroads that were built into the. Guys, the railroads are built into the factories now, and so they have to find a place for those. So, or it can make for a bigger sale when they were selling the factories.
Mhm.
But she'd have to account for more transportation costs when she moved. And number 3 is examine Anna's decision to sell the 2 mega factories in Germany and Sweden. So what was her reasoning behind it, selling those? We kind of discussed it in the first one.
Kind of the same downsides.
Well, she believes that the future of manufacturing is like in the small little factories, in like the places that the ball bearing industries were.
Yeah, so she wants to make smaller ones, small and many instead of 2 and large. And what else?
Just hoping to be more flexible with the smaller factories.
And we kind of covered the other points in the last one, but good job. Okay, and for my real life interpretation, I included like RDB 2020 is comparable to a business proposal, where they make a business plan and present it to a company. If you were in entrepreneurship, you do that, but since she's in the company already, she's proposing it to her father. And that's when they use it to make changes or advancements to the company. So to propose that, usually to get funding for it. And here she's getting the approval for the funding and whatnot. And it usually includes financial and market information, which she lacked in that. All she said was that she was trying to raise funds for it, but it didn't talk about how she would address like the past finances and how it would improve their profit margin in the future and whatnot. So she was missing that in her plan. And current business trends and cultural applications would be that establishing business ethics is huge in today's economy because it sets you apart from the competition. And green production also has that effect, bringing more customers, and it is better on the environment and gets you more places with it. And being environmentally and socially concerned, especially when you're moving into new countries, because that could be a huge concern. They can have different laws there, like their production could be against the cultural laws that they have there. And being community involved and just transparency in the company, because they want to know the reason. If I was moving into a country, I'd want to know the reason why they were selling the 2 factories and what they'd be bringing to our country, whether it's jobs or bringing more production to or boosting the economy. So. And for the big picture interpretation, Anna could have included financial records in RDB 2020 to show past and future expenses and profit. And we named the other options for raising her funds. And I thought about if her degree included other business areas, because it showed that she didn't put in financial records if she had that history in her education with her IB degree. It seemed that she wasn't concerned with the cost, she just wanted to improve and be more on edge with the competition. And that she wasn't keeping her family values in mind, which is something that a customer likes. Like, people like to go to those mom and pop shops because they have such family values, and their employees loved working for them, because they had that family values and it felt like a family, and so she'd be losing that and maybe losing employees or customers through it.
And the one thing that I want to add here is not only are we seeing a generation gap conflict, but we're also seeing a couple of different managerial styles, which I know we'll address later this week. We're going to save it to mine and I'll finish yours. Okay. We are going to wrap up